At the start of the drama, we see our hero Kian. He is the CEO of a large share investment company. But Kian has a terrible condition. He's allergic to human contact. If he touches another person, his body breaks out in an allergic reaction. And if someone hugs or holds him tightly, his whole body turns red and he begins to suffer severe breathing difficulty. Getting out of the car, Kian walks into a lab. Inside the lab, we see various tools and equipment used to build robots. There is also a robot there. Kian enters and stares at the robot in shock because it looks exactly like a human. At that moment, the robot opens its eyes and looks at Kian. Seeing this, Kian is so frightened that as he's about to fall, the robot catches him. But the instant the robot holds him, he screams and struggles and quickly pulls himself away. Kian thought he was about to have an allergy attack, but nothing happens. He's perfectly fine. After all, it wasn't a human. This girl is a robot. Anyway, the robot girl introduces herself to Kian as Fang. She is a highly intelligent robot. Hearing this, Kian is even more surprised because the robot really does look human. Then Fang begins to take off her dress, which makes Kian very embarrassed. Even though she isn't human, every part of the robot's body is human-like, so Kian didn't know what to do out of embarrassment. For that reason, he tells the robot, "Please put your dress back on." Meanwhile, we see a scientist named Ian. He is the one who created this robot. Ian calls his sister and asks how he can convince that investor to invest in the robot he made. His sister gives him various tips. She tells Ian to be very nice to the investor. Ian's sister is a nurse by profession. When a doctor calls her, she drops the phone and goes to work. Meanwhile, Robot Fang is telling Kian a lot about herself. She even reaches out to shake Kian's hand on her own. After touching Kian, she says, "When you came in here, your heartbeat was 77. But after seeing me, your heartbeat has gone up a lot. I think you've started to like me." Hearing that, Kian becomes very shy. Just then, Ian arrives. Ian tells Kian, "I'm the first person who has been able to build a robot like this. The robot can perform many tasks very well. Would you like to invest in the robot I made?" Kian replies, "I'll think about it and let you know." But he himself begins to imagine how the robot would always look after him and care for him. On the other hand, we see Ian's sister. Her name is also Fang. In fact, Ian modeled the robot's face after his sister's face. For that reason, he also named the robot Fang. Elsewhere, the real Fang is looking after a little girl. The girl is very stubborn. She insists on having candy, so Fang gives her a candy to eat. Meanwhile, even after leaving the lab, Kian keeps thinking about the robot. In the next scene, Ian remembers what his sister Fang told him. She had said that when the investor leaves, Ian should give him a proper goodbye. So, Ian goes to open the door, but he accidentally touches Kian, which triggers Kian's allergy attack. His breathing becomes labored. Kian pulls out medicine from his pocket, but before he can take it, he falls to the floor. In panic, Ian accidentally steps on the medicine bottle and breaks it. Poor Kian's condition becomes even worse. Meanwhile, the doctor scolds Fang severely because, despite the doctor's orders, she gave the little girl candy. The doctor tells Fang that she could be fired for this small mistake. At that moment, Ian calls Fang. Ian says, "I've messed everything up here. Instead of impressing the CEO, I've nearly killed him." After hearing this, Fang tells Ian, "Take Kian to the hospital right now." Kian is brought to the hospital. Fang keeps telling Kian again and again to keep his eyes open. Here we see a short flashback. When Kian was a child, there had been a car accident. His parents were with him then. His mother had told him to keep his eyes open so he could get out of the car, but Kian didn't want to leave his father. Hearing Fang's words, that memory flashes before Kian's eyes. Right then, he regains consciousness. Fang calls Kian's family from his phone and asks them to come to the hospital. After a little while, one of Kian's uncles arrives carrying a suitcase. He had been looking after Kian since childhood. After being discharged from the hospital, Kian returns home. His uncle, Mr. Chow, tells Kian his illness is getting worse day by day and that he should get proper treatment first. Kian says he's already spoken with many doctors, but nothing helped. At that moment, a man named Mr. Lee comes to Kian's house. The man is not kindly disposed toward Kian. Kian dislikes him very much. Mr. Lee says the company isn't doing well, and with Kian's health so poor, how can he run it? Kian replies that Mr. Lee shouldn't worry about that and asks what his intentions are in coming. Mr. Lee says he doesn't want the company to collapse, and that's why he wants to become the CEO, because Kian is not well. Kian stops him and says, "First of all, after my parents died, you obtained many shares from our company. Why do you want to be CEO now?" Lee tells him, "Believe me, your parents died in a car accident. No one killed them." Kian replies, "Who would believe you? You will never be CEO of this company." Kian tells his uncle to make Mr. Lee leave immediately. Meanwhile, Fang comes to the lab to see her brother. She learns from the robot that Ian is punishing himself. Fang brought food for Ian. She urges Ian to eat, but Ian says he won't. He worked so hard to find an investor, and now he's ruined everything. Because of his mistake, no one will invest in this robot. Fang tempts him with the food, and finally Ian comes to eat. Fang tells Ian not to worry, she'll find another investor for him. Elsewhere, we see Kian entering a secret room. From what we see in the room, it's clear Kian is secretly investigating his parents' car accident. He still believes that the incident wasn't an accident, but a planned murder. At the same time, Ian receives a message from Kian. Kian says he wants to keep the robot with him for a few days to trial it. Ian is overjoyed he's finally found an investor. Then an alarm in the lab starts ringing. There was a problem. A virus had infected the robot named Fang, and the robot shut down. The next morning, Kian wakes up and sees a beautiful box placed out front. He opens it and finds the robot Fang inside. Kian comes closer to study her carefully. When Fang sees Kian staring at her, she panics because this is not the robot but the real Fang. The robot had been badly damaged last night after its system failed. Despite Ian's efforts, he couldn't fix it. Repairing the robot would take more time, and Ian was very upset. Seeing this, the real Fang tells her brother, "You made the robot to look like me, so I'll go to Kian's house pretending to be the robot for a few days. In the meantime, you can fix the robot and send it back to Kian." Ian says he can't do that. She's his sister. How could he send her to Kian's house as a trial? But Fang insists so many times that Ian finally reluctantly agrees. The story moves to the present. Kian moves close to Fang and stares at her. Seeing this, the real Fang misreads him and thinks, "This guy is not a decent man at all. He brought me here under the pretense of a trial but is looking at me inappropriately. How can a man stare at a woman like this? If he keeps staring for another 10 seconds, I'll smash his face." Then Kian says, "Look, you can act like you breathe just like a real person." Ian really did build a very intelligent robot. Hearing this from Kian, Fang realizes he's been checking whether she can act like a human. He wasn't giving her a bad look. She had judged Kian wrongly. Anyway, Fang tells Kian what systems are installed inside her and what she can do. Kian starts making Fang do different tasks. She doesn't know that this isn't a robot at all, but a real person. Poor Fang is forced to do all those tasks. Kian tells Fang to sing a song for him. Fang thinks to herself that if she starts singing, it will sound like a crow cawing, so she makes an excuse and says the singing system isn't properly set up yet, and she can't use it. Kian insists she must use it, because from now on, every night she must sing him to sleep. Fang is terrified and, in panic, begins to sing loudly. Her loud singing is heard by Uncle Chow, who then receives a call and leaves. Kian suddenly starts choking on a piece of food. Seeing this, Fang rushes to help and manages to get the food out of his throat. But just at that moment, Uncle Chow walks in and freezes, staring at both of them in shock. Kian quickly says, "It's not what you're thinking. Fang was just helping me remove the food that got stuck in my throat." Uncle Chow smiles and says, Yes, I understand. Our Kian has really grown up, I see." Then he warns Kian, "I think Mr. Lee is planning something to take over the CEO position. You should keep an eye on that." After Uncle Chow leaves, Kian tells Fang to take off her glasses. As Fang removes them, Kian silently thinks to himself her eyes are really beautiful. He tells her, "From now on, don't wear glasses, and you're coming with me to my company today. Go get ready." Meanwhile, at the company, Mr. Lee is holding a meeting. He shows everyone Kian's medical reports and talks about his illness. Mr. Lee says, "It's dangerous to keep someone like Kian as CEO, so I should be appointed as the new CEO." Just then, Kian walks in, and Fang is with him. In front of everyone, Kian keeps intentionally touching Fang. Seeing this, people begin to doubt Mr. Lee's claims. Was he lying about Kian's condition? Or has Kian completely recovered now? Kian looks directly at Mr. Lee and says, "As long as I'm alive, no one else will ever become the CEO of this company." Fang, on the other hand, looks uncomfortable, as if she really needs to go to the washroom. She quietly tells Kian, "I need to go to the restroom." Actually, earlier that morning, Kian had told Fang, "When we go to the office, you must act completely human. And if your charge runs low, just say you need to go to the washroom, that way I'll know it's time to recharge you." So, Kian excuses himself and leaves the office with Fang. Outside, Fang starts looking for a restroom, but can't find one anywhere. After a while, she finds one, but it's a men's restroom. Fang is about to enter, but Kian quickly stops her. He then takes her back to the car. Laughing, Kian says, "Wow, you're really good at acting. No one would ever guess you're a robot. You deserve an award for that performance." After they return home, Kian asks, "So, what do you want first, your recharge or your gift?" He then brings her inside and hands her some liquid bottles as a gift, saying, "Drink these. They'll help your engine and all your systems work better." Fang looks at them and thinks, if I actually drink this stuff, I'll end up on the moon without NASA's help. But how would Kian know that? She feels angry and wants to kick Kian and leave right away, but she can't. She has to pretend and keep playing her role. Kian then says, "Come on, I'll help you charge." He makes Fang stand under the sunlight. Fang says politely, "You don't have to stay here, sir. I can recharge myself." But Kian insists on waiting nearby. A few minutes later, Kian gets a phone call and walks away. Fang takes the chance to go look for a restroom. As she walks near the swimming pool, Kian suddenly appears, startling her so much that she loses balance and falls into the pool. Kian immediately jumps in and rescues her. Meanwhile, in Ian's lab, an alarm goes off. Ian panics, thinking Kian might be bullying his sister. Back at the house, after saving Fang, Kian laughs and says, "Good thing Ian made you waterproof. Otherwise, falling in the water could have damaged you." Fang, embarrassed, says that one of her bracelets fell into the pool. Hearing that, Kian dives back into the water to retrieve it for her. Later, while drying Fang's hair, Kian says, "You should have a switch somewhere on your body that dries your hair instantly, right? Where is it?" Before Fang can answer, Kian's phone rings again and he leaves. The next day, when Fang is alone at home, Ian arrives angrily and says, "That evil guy Kian, how dare he bully my sister? Where is he? I'll deal with him right now." But at that moment, Kian is actually out meeting a girl, his childhood friend, Lily. Lily has just returned to the country after a long time. She asks Kian if he has a girlfriend. Kian says no. Lily then suddenly proposes to him, saying she wants to marry him. But Kian replies that he doesn't want to get involved in such things right now. First, he wants to catch his parents' killer. Meanwhile, at home, Ian learns everything about what happened from Fang, and surprisingly, he starts to feel bad for Kian. Ian gives Fang a smartwatch and says, "If you ever have a problem, just press this button. Then I'll know that Kian is bothering you." The next day, Lily returns home. We find out that Lily is actually Mr. Lee's daughter. Mr. Lee tells her, "I know who you like, but marrying him won't help you. You can never touch Kian. It'll only hurt you. You should forget about him." In truth, Lily and Kian had been close friends since childhood. But ever since the day Kian's parents died, he stopped talking to people, even to Lily. He grew to hate human touch. That's how he developed this strange allergy to people. Later, when Kian returns home, he finds the entire house filled with smoke. Thinking there's a fire, he rushes to the kitchen, only to find Ian sitting there happily eating food. Kian asks, "What are you doing here?" Fang calls out from the kitchen, "I invited Ian. He wanted to test my cooking to check how my new feature works." Kian says, "Then I should test it too." He sits down and starts eating. When he asks for some water, Fang hands him a glass and Kian notices a small wound on her hand. He asks, "What happened here?" Ian suddenly shouts loudly, "Don't you dare touch my robot!" But Kian grabs Fang's hand and says, "See? I just touched your robot. What will you do now? Besides, she loves me a lot." Fang freezes, not knowing what to do, and quickly pretends to shut down, closing her eyes like her power has run out. Outside, someone is secretly watching them from afar, and that person is Uncle Chow. On the other hand, we see that Fang had actually fallen asleep. When she wakes up, she starts thinking maybe her brother and Kian had a big fight. But when she walks into the room, she's surprised to see both of them laughing and playing a game together. Ian even wins the match. Smiling proudly, he says, "Didn't you promise that if I win, you'll do whatever I say? Then I want you to stop touching my robot." Kian smirks and goes close to Fang. "Tell me," he says, "is there something on my forehead?" When Fang gently touches his forehead, Kian turns to Ian and says, "See? I didn't touch your robot. Your robot touched me." Ian rolls his eyes. But before leaving, he gives Kian a smartwatch, identical to Fang's. That night, Fang is taking a shower, and Kian can hear the sound because both of their watches are connected. Fang realizes Kian might come over any second, and just as she thinks that, Kian shows up at the bathroom door holding a stick. Fang jumps in fright. Kian says, "Why do you even need to take a shower?" Fang replies, "After staying with humans for so long, I've started to pick up their habits too, that's why." Kian doesn't say anything more and quietly leaves. The next day, Kian takes Fang to the office and tells her to act just like a human. Lily also comes to the company that day. She's there to apply for the position of Kian's assistant, but Kian doesn't hire her. When Fang enters the room, Lily looks at her and asks, "Who is this girl?" Fang politely says, "I'm Kian's assistant." Lily says, "But I came here to be his assistant too." and starts bragging about her qualifications. Ignoring her, Kian takes Fang's hand and says, "My assistant is perfect for me. I like her a lot." Hearing those words, Fang is completely stunned. That night, Kian goes back to his secret room again. He sits down and starts working on a puzzle. It's the same puzzle his father gave him years ago, telling him, "If you can complete this puzzle, you'll get your gift. And always remember to follow the stars." Meanwhile, we see Uncle Chow secretly meeting with Mr. Lee's assistant. Elsewhere, Fang brings strawberries for Kian. Kian looks at her and says, "Didn't your system tell you that I'm not even hungry right now?" Just then, Ian arrives at Kian's house, and Fang serves them both food. Kian insists Ian eat first. Hearing that, Fang starts thinking, does he think I poisoned the food or something? Ian starts eating happily, but when Kian takes a bite, the spiciness almost kills him. Both of them rush up gasping for water, and in that moment, Fang finishes all the leftover food by herself. When Kian returns, he notices something on Fang's lips. "What's that on your face?" he asks. Fang panics, thinking she's caught. But Kian says, "Ah, I see. You drank the liquids I gave you, didn't you?" Fang quickly nods. Yes, of course I did. I'm not human like you. Why would I eat your food?" At that moment, Ian's smartwatch sends a notification. He immediately thinks Kian must be bullying his sister again. He calls Fang and shouts, "Is that evil guy bothering you again?" Then, furious, he starts running toward Kian's house to confront him. Fang hurriedly says, No, Kian didn't do anything. I accidentally pressed the button myself." The next day, Lily comes to Kian's house. Seeing her arrive, Fang quickly tidies up everything and hides, but Lily still spots her. "So, you two live together now?" she says. Kian walks in just then and tells Fang to cook for both of them. While Fang is cooking, Lily comes closer and tries to touch her. But Kian grabs Lily's hand and says, "Don't touch Fang." Lily feels delighted Kian just held her hand. She smiles and says, "That means you're cured now." But before she can finish, Kian's allergy suddenly kicks in. He collapses, struggling to breathe. Fang rushes to help him. Suddenly, she remembers back at the hospital. Uncle Chow had brought a suitcase. Fang searches for it and finds an injection inside. She injects Kian with it, and his breathing slowly returns to normal. Kian looks at her weakly and thanks her for saving his life. Just then, Lily arrives again, this time with Uncle Chow. Lily angrily tells Fang to stay away from Kian. But outside, Uncle Chow pulls Lily aside and quietly tells her the truth that Fang isn't human at all. She's a robot. Later, Kian asks Fang, "How did you know the injection was in that suitcase?" Fang smiles and says, "I have special systems that help me find things easily. It's just how I'm built." That night, while Kian is taking a shower, he calls out to Fang and asks her to clean his hair. Fang steps inside with her eyes closed. Kian laughs and says, "If you keep your eyes shut, you won't be able to see anything." Fang thinks to herself, "I've seen so many human bodies back when I worked in the hospital, but why do I feel so embarrassed seeing Kian like this?" She slowly removes her eye mask and starts cleaning his hair. Even though she's human now, Kian doesn't have any allergic reaction when she touches him. The reason behind that, we'll learn later. As Fang finds herself drawn closer to Kian, she suddenly pretends that her charge has run out and collapses. Kian picks her up in his arms and says, "How did this robot get so heavy?" Fang thinks to herself, "Wait, did he just call me fat?" Smiling softly, Kian carries her to the bed and lays her down gently. The next morning, Kian tells Fang, "Make sure you're fully charged today, because tonight we're going to Mr. Lee's house for dinner." That night, they both arrive at Mr. Lee's house. Mr. Lee invites Fang to sit at the dining table with them, but Kian quickly says there's no need for her to sit. After all, he knew she was a robot. What would be the point of her sitting down? It's not like she could eat like a human. So she excuses herself, saying she needs to go to the washroom. Lily quietly follows her and says, "As far as I know, you're a robot. So why would a robot need to use the washroom?" Fang immediately switches into her robotic mode, pretending to act mechanical. But Lily crosses her arms and says, "Stop pretending. I already know the truth. You're not a robot, you're human." Lily had actually gone to Ian's lab earlier and learned the truth from him. Fang looks at her calmly and says, "Don't worry, I'm not going to take Kian away from you." When they both come back out, they find that Kian and Mr. Lee have both gotten pretty drunk. Fang helps Kian get up and brings him home. At home, Kian takes Fang's hand and says softly, "You're a robot, but if you were human, things would have been so much better. Tell me, can you delete memories from your system?" Fang replies, "Yes, I can." Kian looks at her and says, "Then whatever happens next, delete it from your memory." Saying that, Kian suddenly leans in and kisses her gently. Fang freezes in surprise, but deep down, her heart starts racing. Why does this feel nice? Am I starting to like him? Why does being near him make me so happy? The next morning, when Kian wakes up, he remembers what happened the night before. Embarrassed, he says, "I was drunk. I don't even know what I did last night." Fang simply smiles and says, I already deleted everything from my memory. I don't remember a thing. Later, at his office, Kian opens his laptop and starts watching a recorded video. It turns out, when he visited Mr. Lee's house that night, he secretly set up a camera to monitor Lee's plans against the company. But in the footage, Kian accidentally records Fang and Lily's conversation. Hearing it, Kian finally realizes the shocking truth. The girl he'd been living with all this time wasn't a robot. She was human, and he hadn't even noticed once. Meanwhile, Ian finally fixes the real robot and brings it to Kian's house. As Fang steps outside, she sees her brother holding hands with Lily and says, Why are you holding her hand? Are you two dating now? Ian explains awkwardly, No, our hands got stuck together because of some glue accident. Then he says, I fixed the real robot, so you don't have to stay here anymore. You don't need to pretend to be a robot any longer. Ian takes Fang's hand and starts to leave. Just then, Kian arrives home and stops in shock. Standing before him are two identical Fangs. The real Fang takes a deep breath and tells Kian the entire truth. Hearing everything, Kian's face turns red with anger. All of you lied to me, he shouts. Why does everyone always cheat me? Ian steps forward and says, It wasn't Fang's fault. The robot wasn't ready yet, so I sent my sister instead for a few days. Kian glares at him and says, You and your sister both liars. Lily steps closer and says, Why are you reacting like this, Kian? Is it because you've fallen for Fang? At that moment, both Kian and Fang shout at the same time, No, never. We don't like each other at all. After that, Fang leaves Kian's house and goes back to her old job, but she can't stop thinking about all the moments she spent with him. On the other hand, the doctor who regularly checks on Kian tells him, I think you're slowly recovering, maybe because of that girl. The doctor even smiles and says, If you want, you can test it, try touching me to see if your allergy is gone. But Kian hesitates and doesn't do it. Deep inside, he misses Fang terribly. One night, Kian suddenly gets a high fever. Since Fang still has the connected smartwatch, she notices his temperature rising. She rushes to his house and takes care of him all night. Before sunrise, she quietly leaves. When Kian wakes up in the morning, he finds the medicine placed beside his bed. He realizes Fang was there last night. Meanwhile, Fang tells her brother, I think I've developed a serious problem. Ian asks, What kind of problem? Fang sighs and says, I think I've started to like Kian. Elsewhere, Kian, filled with frustration, starts playing basketball alone. Ian shows up and says, Come on, let's play a match together. Whoever wins gets to make the other do one thing. They start playing, every round ends in a draw. But in the last round, Kian deliberately loses. Smiling, Ian says, I'm kind of an introvert. That's why our parents always told Fang to look after me. I built a robot that looks like her, so after she gets married, that robot could take care of me instead. Then Ian looks straight at Kian and says, I don't want my sister to stay upset over some guy. The truth is, Fang loves you. Please, talk to her. Kian, stunned, looks at him and softly asks, Where is Fang now? Fang was walking down the street when she suddenly realized someone was following her. Scared and nervous, she tried to walk faster, but before the man could reach her, Kian appeared just in time and saved her. In the fight, Kian got hurt. Fang took him home and carefully applied medicine to his wounds. Since she had touched him, she worried that his allergy might start again, so she quickly asked him where his medicine was kept. But Kian said he was perfectly fine now, and that it was because of Fang he had recovered. Actually, Kian had gotten used to touching Fang thinking she was a robot, and that slowly erased the hatred and fear he had built up inside him toward humans. That's why he never had any allergic reaction when touching her. Over time, being around Fang helped him overcome his condition completely. When Fang was about to leave, Kian stopped her and confessed his feelings. Fang was shocked for a moment, but then they both shared what was truly in their hearts. They were both happy and came closer to each other. After a while, Kian took Fang to his secret room. There, he told her about his parents' accident and said he always believed it wasn't just an accident, but a planned murder. Now, his only goal in life was to find out who killed his parents. Fang promised she would help him from now on and that she would always stay by his side. The next day, Kian took Fang to the place where the car accident had happened. Being there again made Kian emotional and nervous as all the painful memories returned. Fang helped calm him down, but just then, Kian's uncle called, asking where he was. Kian said he was at the accident site, the same place where his parents had died. Hearing that, Uncle Chow was shocked and quickly rushed out of the hospital. Meanwhile, as Kian and Fang searched the area for clues, they discovered a star symbol. Kian remembered how his mother used to tell him to follow the stars. They followed the stars and reached a hidden spot where they found a box. It was the gift Kian's parents had once promised to give him. At last, Kian found the final gift from his mom and dad. The next day, while Kian and Fang were sharing some romantic time at home, Uncle Chow suddenly came in and told them that Mr. Lee was once again plotting to become the CEO of the company. Kian and Fang went to the office calmly but confidently. In front of everyone, Kian showed a file and said that his parents had left extra company shares in his name, which meant no one except him could ever be the CEO. Seeing this, Mr. Lee collapsed from shock. Meanwhile, Uncle Chow entered Kian's secret room. There, he whispered to himself that Kian would never know he was the one behind everything, even his parents' accident. But when he tried to leave, he found the door locked. It turned out Kian and Fang had already planned everything. They had found out long ago that Uncle Chow was the real culprit. When Uncle Chow begged for forgiveness, Kian said angrily, "You're a terrible man. My parents treated you like family, and this is what you did to them? If you needed money, you could have asked them once, but instead, you killed them." Then Kian handed him over to the police. A few days later, at an official event, Kian announced that he was going to invest in Ian's robot project. Meanwhile, Lily had moved on from Kian and fallen in love with Ian. They were now a happy couple. Later, Kian met Mr. Lee. He had once suspected Lee of everything, but Lee said, "It's okay. I only wanted to become CEO for the company's good. But now I know no one can handle this company better than you." Kian smiled and shook his hand. Mr. Lee said, "You touched me, and nothing happened. That means you're completely cured." Kian smiled again and said, "Yes, Fang cured me." In the end, Kian and Fang were seen spending many beautiful, happy moments together, finally free, healed, and deeply in love. With this beautiful moment, today's drama comes to an end. Don't forget to let me know how you liked the drama, and if you enjoy my stories, make sure to like and comment to stay with me. Now I'm leaving, but I'll see you soon with a new drama story. Until then, take care of yourselves.